Hello guys and welcome back to another episode of the web development series. Today we are at episode number 9, and if you didn't watch any of the previous episodes, I do recommend you to watch those first because it will help you to better understand what we're doing today. So without any further ado, let's get started. Okay, so right here I have created a new folder in which I added a few files, and that includes a blank HTML file, and I also opened it up in Firefox. So today we're going to talk about, firstly we're going to talk about the page layout. So let's create the rest of the file. Okay, and we're going to add a head in which we're going to add a title, and we're going to call it page layout. And the second, and now we're going to close the head, and the second thing we want to do is open up the body. Okay, and inside the body, we're going to start with the page elements. So this will require HTML5 or higher in order to be done, and this is also mainly supported by the browser. So you will need a browser that supports HTML5. So everything we're going to do today is based off of HTML5, and as you might remember from last time, we talked about divisions and splitting your page and making a page layout. Now, if you want to do it faster and you don't have that much complexity to it, you could do it with the following tags, because the page layout is like pre-made in HTML5. You just have to add the tags. So let's go ahead and do that. So first things first, at the top of the page, you'll find the header. Now in the header, you would mostly find titles. So we're going to put here, this is the title of the page. And we're going to close the header. Now in order to make it easily visible, I'm going to also add some style to it. And we're going to add background color, and we're going to put that to red, so that's easier to see for you. So this is basically the way it's going to look. Now it's oversized. This is how it would normally look with the default text properties. Now you could resize the text and the header and everything to your liking, or I'm going to keep it to 160% so you could easily see. Then there comes the navigation. So you put nav, and this is usually used for links, just a navigation bar. So we're going to put a background color of something like, let's put something light, so we're going to put pink. And inside the navigation bar, you'd normally find links. So we're going to put a link that will take us to the current page. And we're going to add a link to the About page that doesn't yet exist. Okay, and we're going to close our navigation bar. So this is basically the navigation bar that comes in. And you can see we have the link to home and the link to our About page that takes us nowhere. But this is the section that would normally have the navigation bar. The next element would be section. Okay, wait. Okay, so the next element would be section. So here we would normally put media content or paragraphs. So let's put for the moment some paragraphs. So we're going to put, this is a paragraph in the section of the page. Okay, and we're going to copy this line and put multiple paragraphs so you could actually see it. Okay, so this is basically the section, and we're going to also add a background color for it. And we are going to make this green. Okay, and if I refresh, you could see here, there's the section of the page that has its paragraphs into it. Now, the next part that, it's very similar to the section, it's mostly about the content, would be article. Now, inside the article, you would normally just write stuff, so that's what it mainly is for. So inside it, we're going to put some paragraphs, and we're going to call it, this is a graph inside the article of the page. Okay, and we're going to copy this line multiple times so that we have some content to it. And we're going to add a background color of, let's say, Dodger Blue. So we have kind of like a lighter blue here. So basically, this is the header, the navigation bar, the section, and the article. Now, the next thing that would be, and that's basically the end of the page, would be the footer. Now, there is one more near this, but I'm going to go ahead and do that after the footer, because that's mostly an auxiliary element of the page, of the layout. So inside here, we're going to put the color orange. So we have some colors here. And inside the footer, you would normally basically put some links or some information. So basically, we're going to put in some text. We're going to put some text inside, and we're going to put, this is the page that contains the basic layout of the page. Okay, and if I put this in here, you will be able to see that basically this is what is inside the footer. So the footer is basically the end of the page. Now, there is one more element that is actually included in here. So let's make the footer as a comment. Okay, so this is now a comment. And we're going to add the aside. Now, aside is basically what it says. It's basically a side menu for it. So in order to make this basically look nice, we're going to go here to section and article and do their width equal to 70%, so that we can have some space in the right to actually put that aside. So we kind of still have to model the page yourself, but you don't have to make different divisions. And you could basically just do the same thing in older versions of HTML with divisions and just making classes for them. Now, I would actually do recommend doing classes for them, because if you're just opening it on a very old computer or a very old version of browser, to still be able to read that thing. But that's not necessarily the case, since it's 2018 right now, and I don't think that anybody uses a device that doesn't support a browser new enough to read HTML5. So we're going to put some style to it. We're going to do the following. We're going to background color, and I'm going to make this one gray, and I'm going to make the width equal to 29%, and I'm going to make it to float right, so that's going to be in the right of the page, and I'm going to put position relative, because it's going to be a bit to the top. It's going to be top, I think, minus something. minus 400 pixels. So let's see that one. Well, let's put some content into it. So we're going to put a link. So we're going to make that our link. Okay, so that's there. So let's make it 100 pixels or 250 pixels. That's a bit too much. 200 pixels. 210. Now I know this is not really a good method of doing things, but for now I'm gonna let that do it. So, and I'm gonna make a height of 210 pixels. 200 pixels. 190 pixels. 195, I think, would be the actual. Yep, that's good. Now, it's not the best method, and it's not really, a good idea, because on different displays, it might actually stretch it out, do some things. So look, now right now the width is okay because it's in percents, but if it would be kind of like stretching it vertically, it wouldn't be a really good idea in terms of it, because it would not it isn't a good idea, because it might actually not fit the same on different resolutions. So that's why I would actually go for another method when I'm actually making a page. But this is for demonstration purposes only. You could use a whole other set of things to actually move your aside content, just do anything you want with it. But this is like the basic idea of the aside content. That's where I want to get to it. So this is basically the format of the page. So you'll have your header, then you'll have your navigation bar, then you'll have a section, then you'll also have an article, and you'll have an aside and your footer. So now let's talk about the media things that we wanted to talk about. So I already showed you how to put images into an HTML file and actually be able to read them. So let's now go ahead and add video and audio. Now this is supported for HTML5 only, so we're going to do audio, we're going to do source, we're going to do sample.mp3, and this is basically the audio. Now you can't hear it playing because we didn't have now anything set to play. So we're going to put to autoplay. So if we put autoplay,
this is a test recording.
It will play our recording. Loop will actually make it loop, so it will repeat.
This is a test recording. This is a test recording. This is a.
So removing the autoplay now and the loop. Now you could see these two ones, but how do you get those controls and everything? So controls will actually help you and let you display controls for this. So you'll have like this little bar right here and a volume and play, pause, and now you could also put your auto play or loop, and this will basically work. Now the video is basically the same concept, but there's one more thing that that I would like to show you. Now if you put a style attribute to it and you put width and you set a width for it, so let's say 500 pixels, what will happen is you'll actually just stretch the control section. So that's what's going to happen to it. You're going to just stretch your control section. You can use and set some width, probably even some height for your controls, but I don't know what you want to do that. And the controls basically behave like any other box. You could use position, you can use float, and basically do a lot of the things that you would normally do with one of these divisions. So you could set the height, if you want to make it slimmer. You could set the position and actually move it around. But this is basically the concept of it. Now there's one more method of doing this, and this audio tag supports only MP3 and OGG. So here, if you just put audio and controls, and inside you'll want to put things like source, and then put a source for it. So in this case, it will be sample.ogg, and at type, I'm going to put audio/ogg. And basically you could put more files this way, so you can put more files. So let's put the sample.mp3. Now these two files are basically the same file, but in different formats. So, and then we're going to put audio/mp3. And if I put now, we have another box, so this is the box for it.
This is a test recording. This is a test recording.
And if this is not supported, you might want to display some text. So you're going to put audio is not supported by your browser. So what this will do is, in case this is not supported, it will go to this one. And that's basically how things work. And you could just do this source thing. If you have basically, let's say, a backup file or something. Now, the video is basically the same thing. So inside it, and we're gonna put the source. We're gonna make it sample.mp4, and inside here we could put autoplay. And if I refresh now, you'll see we have the video straight, but with no control, so no bar. It's just going to autoplay. It's going to autoplay the video. This is the video I made. It's like it's just a test recording. So it basically stopped now, but you might want some controls. So we're going to do that as well, because why not get some controls? Now you have some video controls. And basically, just as with that, we can go to style. Now this video has no audio, so there's nothing to hear. And to style, we're going to put width equal to, let's say, well, it's 1280 by 720. So we're going to put 1280 pixels. Now this is a 1080p monitor, so it should be downsize it. You can see that. And the height is on auto, but you could also put to height whatever you want, and basically, let's say, resize it. So we're going to put by 1280 by 600 pixels, and what will happen is basically it will compress it. It's going to just scale it down. But if I put now 720, which is basically the perfect aspect ratio, you can see it's no stretching, no compressing, no nothing. It's basically just down scaled the video, and you basically have the same things. Also, if I put video, I'm going to put controls because it has controls. You could basically make the same thing with source if you have multiple or something like backup videos, and you want to do it. So source equals to sample.mp4, and we're gonna have type. It's gonna be video, and it's gonna be mp4. And if video is not supported, just a moment. Video is not supported by your browser, and we basically have this right here. Now, one thing to note that different browsers might have this as with a default position, let's say inline, static position, and put them inline, or some may have it relative. So basically, you wouldn't want to let these on default. You want to just actually specify something. Let's say we're going to position static, which is basically the default right now, but you might want to do that. So this is for this video. So if you enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. Now, if you want to see more videos like this, click that subscribe button with the little bell in the right to get notified every time I upload a new video. So see you next time on HowToIT.